All right. Seems like every time that the Lord lays something on my heart that I'm looking rough, scruffy. I was trying to help my son a little bit today, but anyways, I'm wore out. I'm exhausted, and I've been real lazy about not doing no videos and speaking when the Lord says to speak. So I'm gonna try to correct that. Do a few more videos and hopefully help some folks out. And as I go along, if there's anything, I've heard some things from some of y'all that's sparked a few other ideas and thoughts. But right now, what is really, really blew my mind lately was I saw this. I was watching The Chosen, and I love that show. And it's just phenomenal. But he was talking about faith. He was talking about Jesus. He was talking to the disciples. And he said, but if you have the faith of a grain of a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, get up, be cast in the sea, and it would do so. So I got to think about that. And I have for years. I mean, when he says, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed is tangible. It's something you can see. Faith is not. So it don't really make a whole lot of sense to think about a mustard seed. So you read Romans chapter 12, verse 3 says, for I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. Don't be trying to be above who you are. But to think soberly, which means clearly minded, according as God hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. Hold on just a minute. That is good. Every man is dealt the measure of faith. Let me clarify. The grain of a mustard seed, he used it to say that it's very small. Because we put in our minds, faith as being larger or smaller. I have more faith. I have less faith. There's people that have more faith. They have less. We think these and we say these things all the time. But then when I got to digging and praying and really trying to meditate on this, there is no bigger faith or smaller faith. There's just faith. Who do you have your faith in is the question. So it's not about large faith and small faith. I have little faith. I have a lot of faith. It's not about that. We all put our trust in some things. And I can go on and on for a long time on this, but I'll try to keep this as short as I can. Because people don't have very large spans of attention. But the faith is the faith, period. So when we have faith in God, it doesn't matter the situation. The situation is the same as the mustard seed. Whatever we see so big, so wild, so out of touch, whatever it is nothing. It's all faith. So if faith is just, everybody has the measure of faith, so I was having this conversation with my son, he said, whoa, wait a minute, Dad. What about when Jesus came to the disciples, a lot of times, and said, ye of little faith? What he's talking about is, you got faith in just very little things. Why don't you trust me in the big as you do in the little? Because Jesus had been with them and he saw that they'd had faith, and there was times they didn't have faith. So that was a big part of it there. Then he asked me, we have these conversations all the time. He asked me, he says, what about the man that was talking to Jesus and said, help thee my unbelief? I said, that further proves the point of the revelation that I've recently obtained. We have faith in some things. I have faith that I'm going to get up in the morning. I may not. But my faith is that I'm going to get up in the morning. This is Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to be in church. But the faith that I have that I'm going to wake up in the morning should be the same faith that I have that God can heal my son. Or that I could, I'm going to go real wild with you, that I could even walk on water. It's all the same faith that Jesus exemplified and explained to everybody about how it was with the grain of a mustard seed. Amazing. You don't have less faith than anybody else, or you don't have more faith than anybody else. You either don't trust God in some areas of your life, or you trust God in most areas of your life. But you still have the measure of faith. Long video. Hope it helps. God bless you all.